Hey everybody, I'm Pastor Bill from Open Door Baptist Church in Morehead City, and thanks for coming back on this frosty Morehead City morning for another word of encouragement. This is a weekday video series that we put out to help us all to take our eyes off of the disgust, I guess, that the world just keeps putting in front of us and put our eyes back onto God's beauty, the beauty of His life-giving and wonderful words coming out of His Bible. And today we are going to take a look at some very encouraging and life-giving words out of the book of Joel. As you probably know, most prophets in the Old Testament had very, very difficult things to say, normally very accusatory things to say toward God's people. And normally it ended in a very dark place for God's people. He was calling them back, trying to shake them, get their attention. And in Joel, however, we get to Joel chapter 2, verse 18, where we finally read these words. Then the Lord became jealous for his land and spared his people. And that is such an encouraging phrase, even just that one sentence, that the Lord became jealous for his land and he spared his people. And he goes on to say this, beginning in verse 21, "Don't be afraid, land, rejoice and be glad, for the Lord has done great things. Don't be afraid, wild animals, for the wilderness pastures have turned green. The trees bear their fruit, and the fig tree and grapevine yield their riches. Children of Zion, rejoice and be glad in the Lord your God, because he gives you the autumn rain for your vindication. He sends showers for you, both autumn and spring rain as before. The threshing floors will be full of grain, and the vats will overflow with new wine and olive oil. I will repay you for the years that the swarming locust ate, the young locust, the destroying locust, and the devouring locust, my great army which I sent against you. You will have plenty to eat and be satisfied. You will praise the name of Yahweh your God, who has dealt wondrously with you. My people will never again be put to shame. You will know that I am present in Israel and that I am Yahweh your God, and there is no other. My people will never again be put to shame." I hope that these words land on you with a great sense of strength and encouragement today, to know that God is a jealous God, and that when his jealousy is poured out, it can be poured out in wrath and anger, yes, but then it can also be poured out in the type of protecting jealousy that we see here toward the people of Israel. He goes on to talk about how he's redeeming not only souls, but in a very different way. He's redeeming even all of creation, the land and the wild animals, because he cares for them as his creation. And then this so important phrase here that we have to come to grips with, where he says that the locusts were his great army that he sent against the children of Israel. We must come to grips that God is sovereign, and when we feel like we are in the midst of the years that swarming locusts are eating, we have to also turn to the Lord and say, you are sovereign, you are powerful. If we are in the midst of trial and trouble, it's because in some way you have willed it to be so. And while we're walking through that, times of difficulty, times that we would say these are like years that the locusts are eating away, then we can take some comfort in the fact that it is our God who is in control of those times, and that he, in his right timing, will lift that from us. And as he said to Israel, he can repay us for the years that the locusts have ate. Well, I do hope that this is encouragement to you today, and I hope that you'll tune in tomorrow for another word of encouragement.